Meanwhile, Dr. Ambedkar realized his private dream, which every scholar and lover of books nurses, to build a house, to have one's own private library. Rajgruha in Dadar, Bombay. Mr. S.S. Rege, the famous librarian of Siddhartha College, tells a story about a priest who went to persuade Ambedkar on how his own religion offered true salvation.
Now there Dr. Ambedkar was listening to him very quietly, and after that he quietly asked him, "What Bible do you use for your prayers?" Now this priest was surprised. He don't know what this question was. He said, "What Bible?" I said, "The Holy Bible." "Yes, yes, I know the Holy Bible, but which version do you use?" And when he said this version, he just called me and he said, "Rege, you get all those copies of Bible which you have." And I brought 18 copies of Bible, placed them before the priest, and he said, "Look, this is King James version, this is Elizabeth version, this is this version." Now, this priest was flabbergasted to say that this fellow has number of copies of different types of Bible.
Dr. Ambedkar supervised the designing of the house personally, with a view to accommodate his vast and unique collection of books, his principal passion. Books he starved himself to buy. Here it was in 1935 that his devoted companion of many years, Ramabai, passed away, leaving a vacuum in Dr. Ambedkar's life. For a few days, Dr. Ambedkar went into deep mourning and secluded himself from the world. At the historic conference of the depressed classes at Yeola in October 1935, he gave vent to his frustration, and for the first time publicly expressed his desire to leave the Hindu fold. He told the Yeola gathering, "Unfortunately, I am born a Hindu untouchable. I solemnly assure you that I will not die a Hindu." So momentous was this announcement that it took the Indian society by storm. He was elected to the Bombay Legislative Assembly in the first general elections of 1935 as an independent Labour Party candidate. This party, newly formed by him, won 17 seats. He gave deep thought to the plight of the working class, even as he organized workers' trade unions. He spoke on the finances of the state and the nation. Agrarian problems, such as the consolidation of small holdings, attracted his studied comments. Mr. P.T. Borade, Dr. Ambedkar's close associate, says,
Baba Sahib Ambedkar, as a matter of fact, wanted all justices and exploitations existing in India be ended. And three types of exploitations were there so far when he has started the movement. One, what is known to be Watandari or Maharvat Kamgar or Watandars. Second, the halai system, means plough attached to the plough system. And thirdly, khoti system, which were there three together. And lastly, general agricultural movement and scavengers. The halais means one who was attached to a plough. That man was enforced to work throughout his family, and there was no independence for that, and the lands were they were sold along with the land, and thus that was the agricultural serfdom must be ended. Baba Sahib Ambedkar therefore started a movement along with Gula Maharaj and others when many people were assaulted, and at the same time they were detained, and that particular system was so existed that along with khoti system, this was also ended in 1938.
बाबासाहेबची इच्छा एवढीच होती की जास्त प्रजा वाढता कामा नये आणि गरीब लोकांमध्ये ही गोष्ट.
Mr. P.J. Roham, Ambedkar's associate and a member of the assembly, says,
समाजाच्या दृष्टीने
Dr. Ambedkar's championship of birth control in those days shows how far ahead of his time he was. Lord Bottomley, member of the Parliamentary Committee visiting India, says,
"When I went to India in 1946, he was a member of the Viceroy's Council and responsible for industrial matters. I was the only trade unionist on the parliamentary mission from this country, and it was natural that I would seek him out to talk about industry and related matters. I asked him about the trade unions, and he said he was keen to get trade unions established and was encouraging employers to recognise trade unions. He seemed very keen on that. He also told me he wanted to establish a minimum wage for workers. If I tell you that it was many years later that the British Labour Party embarked upon such a scheme, you'll see how advanced he was and his thoughts. In addition to talking about trade unions, we talked about industrial matters generally, and from that he said to me that it was his desire, he'd been reading about the social reforms in Britain as a result of the new Labour government, and he said he wanted to bring about social services in India following the pattern that was being established in Britain.
Baba Ambedkar introduced the Labour Welfare Acts like Payment of Wages Act. Then also for the employment is concerned, he established employment exchange. There are exchanges today, what we find for the employment is concerned, then education, housing, and also wages adequate to the standard of living.
Through the hustle and bustle of his busy public life, the scholar and the public-spirited man in him produced several monumental works. Among those particularly acknowledged for his erudition and referred worldwide in academic communities were his works Who Were Shudras, The Untouchables, and Pakistan or Partition of India. He specifically took time off to go to a secluded place in Ahmednagar to do research and write this book. Ambedkar was quite incisive in his views on Pakistan. The case made by Ambedkar was so formidable that hardly any matching retort came out. The book created a furor. Burying Pakistan is not the same thing as burying the ghost of Pakistan. So long as the hostility to one central government of India, which is the ideology underlying Pakistan, persists, the ghost of Pakistan will be there, casting its ominous shadow upon the political future of India. Education, in his view, was the major weapon to fight social evils. His long-cherished dream was fulfilled when he founded the People's Education Society and started Siddhartha College at Bombay in June 1946, and later the Milind Mahavidyalaya, Aurangabad. Later, Dr. Ambedkar donated his vast collection of books to the Siddhartha College library. The huge library testifies to his wide range of reading. Mr. Ganesham Talvatkar, his associate in the field of education, says,
"The object of the People's Education Society, founded by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, is not only to give education, but to give education in such a manner that it should promote intellectual, cultural, and social democracy. And in this context, the law started with all institutions, and the benefit of these institutions were given to all students coming from various caste, creed, and community. Even in Siddhartha College, or for that matter the Milind Mahavidyalaya, you find that hundreds of people belonging to different castes, different layer of community, they have taken the advantage of the education and they have elevated their lives in a much better way. And it is, as a matter of fact, it is a nation building work.